Last year, I know there was a big thing that people, Philly fans, absolutely loved. If there's any Philly fans in the chat, I'm sure you're going to want to pump this up right now. But it was if Ben Simmons played, he could have shut down Tatum. Okay, and that was their big thing, right?
Yep.
Well, Ben Simmons played, and he did play on Jayson Tatum, and it didn't look like Jayson Tatum was having a lot of fun tonight.
Yeah, that was.
But you know what? I mean, we're talking game 50, 51, whatever it is at this point in the season. I don't really care what Ben Simmons does against him now. It's irrelevant. It's all about the playoffs.
Well, I mean, Jalen toasted him last time, but anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Right. To me, I mean, I when I look at how the Celtics, fare against Philadelphia and teams like that, I'm not as consumed by one individual outperforming another. I'm looking at, is there a flow to their team? Are there things what scared me about Philadelphia is not only was Embiid getting to a line a hell of a lot of times, but they're guys like Curry and freaking Matisse Thybulle knocked down a three. When those guys are making 3-point shots, that scares the crap out of me. It's not about what Ben's going to play good defense regardless of who he's matched up with. But when those guys start knocking down threes, and you're going to get a ton of free throws from Embiid around the basket because the Celtics have no one that can guard him. Even when Rob Williams is, I think, at peak of his game, Rob Williams, Embiid's still going to get 20 and 12, and that will be limiting him to 20 and 12. So. What scared me about this game was just how easily Philadelphia pretty much got whatever they wanted to offensively. And that for a team that has struggled in that particular phase of play when they played the Celtics in the playoffs, getting buckets, that's what makes me really nervous about seeing them come postseason.
They have everything.
Yeah, the reason why I was a little disappointed, and I know it's just the regular season, but you're looking for signs with this team, right? I mean, everyone's high on them after, they blow out the Rockets and, whoever else, teams that don't really have any business in the playoffs. And everyone's saying, oh, okay, they look good. And I understand Fournier was out tonight, but how many games has the Celtics won this year that they shouldn't have won? Not that many.
Not many.
Maybe a couple, one or two against the Bucks.
Milwaukee recently, right?
Yeah, I mean, okay.
The Tatum bank shot.
Milwaukee, game 1 of the season, and then you beat Milwaukee after you lost to them, and then didn't they beat Denver?
They beat the Clippers twice.
Clippers, right?
So there's a couple, and that's fine. But more than not, they're not really stepping up to the plate, at least in my opinion. And this would have been this wasn't a game where you're down Fournier, and I understand they're losing this game, but they really lost this game. This wasn't a close game. I know they lost by 10, but it was closer to 20, and I think we all agree that this was a blowout loss for them. And that's why I would have liked to see Tatum sort of show out a little bit and maybe carry the team a little bit more, or Jaylen Brown, because you look at these two teams tonight. There was one superstar on the court tonight, and that was Joel Embiid, and everybody else. There was nobody even remotely close to his stardom tonight. And unfortunately, that's kind of been the theme with the Celtics, where their stars, Tatum and Brown and Kemba and whoever else, they kind of don't really shine.
Shrunk to the challenge.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of been the theme this season, and that's why so many fans are so frustrated with this team, and that's why they feel like they don't show the energy, or they don't show the fight, or they don't show the togetherness, and they don't play for each other. Tonight was a perfect example of that.
Well,
it was like 12 to 15 throughout the game. So my general feeling throughout was that if they could put a run together, they'd be back in it.
They never
but
did.
It felt like they never could. It felt like not only they didn't, it felt impossible, right? It just didn't look. It didn't at any point in this game where you're like, yeah, here we go.
Right.
I didn't feel it.
No, because you got this. Yeah, go ahead, Bobby. You first.
I was gonna say, let's be real. Like Sherrod said, this Philly team's so complete. They got mid-range action. They got 3-point shooters, as he said. Obviously, the inside game's going to be held down by Embiid, and then their defense is number 2. So the Celtics had to make up for all that somewhere. And on the offensive end of the floor, they didn't do much to challenge or even make it hard on Philly to get those stops. And really, without Fournier out there, it looked like the old Celtics from before the deadline, going straight line, downhill, attack, pick and roll. They didn't have any rollers without Rob out there. So it was just Tatum isolation.
Sloppy passes, lazy
Let me ask you guys, though, are they that fragile or mentally weak or that they can't remember? I mean, it was so obvious. It wasn't just Fournier. It was, and obviously bad competition, but it was we need to move the ball and we need to play this way
Well,
in order to score.
It was back to Grant. It was back to Shemi. Like they're
But
thin.
the
So when one
starters-
guy
but-
goes down, it's
But the
right
starters,
back to
doing
that
it.
stuff.
I mean, John, yeah, I think there's a little bit of that because remember what we said before? It's like if they get out to this slow start, you sort of know how that story going to end, right? Whether it's a big comeback or not, it's going to be an L at the end of the day. And I got those vibes in that first quarter. When the Philadelphia 76ers are going downhill the way they are, I feel like the Boston Celtics just get beside themselves and they stray from the game plan. Whereas, and especially in that first quarter where Jalen was, I don't want to call it hero ball, but he was taking matters into his own hands. And I thought that the Celtics just never really found the right flow because there were always a couple of steps behind on defense, and it's like they killed themselves or they kicked themselves over and over when they start stacking up turnovers and seeing the other team get to the free throw line so many damn times, and then come to complaining to the referees. I mean, it's like the ongoing pattern at this point. But I just thought, I guess the Philadelphia 76ers, like again, we've been saying it this whole time, they should have lost by 25 points. I mean, this team is that tough. They smell blood.